Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Spiritual Thursday. So, because I participated in watching some of the May Day festivities downtown in Portland, I got to thinking quite a bit about this whole idea that the left tries to push, that people can't understand other people's cultures unless they were specifically taught by somebody of that culture. Because it seems that people can't read and interpret and understand and come to decisions without direct first-hand exposure to things. It seems to actually undermine the left's entire argument. Because in that situation, most of these people calling for communism or socialism who have never lived under it are incapable of actually understanding what it does, how it works, and how things act. And many of the groups that claim that there's white supremacy and things of that nature are using it without actual knowledge of it, because most of them are far too young to have actually lived under real white supremacy and real racism in the United States. We're not talking about individuals being somewhat racist or racist on themselves, but actual tolerated systemic racism, such as the Jim Crow laws. Because many of that generation and the generation before are gone, and many of the people who are actively pushing these ideologies are far too young to have ever experienced any of that. And it just brings me to the understanding that we have lost that fundamental questioning that we had when we were developing. In that so many people do not question authority anymore, do not try to make their lives better anymore. They just take what they have and live with it. And I have to wonder why. What's killed that burgeoning drive of humanity? I know in Europe, the statism has, for the most part, killed off those that would strive to succeed through many different ways, including endless upon endless war in Europe. Europe had so many wars in the past 1,000 years that it's unbelievable how many people have died in Europe because of warfare. Africa has a similar problem. The tribes in Africa have been warring for centuries, and so has the Middle East. But regardless of the warfare, it seemed that human beings would still strive. Yet it seems that we have somehow started killing that off in ourselves. We have decided to sit on our laurels instead of continuing to strive to the heavens. And I wonder if that's actually going to cause some sort of harm to us. Because many of our religious belief systems actually tell us to strive to be like the divine beings we want to emulate. And it teaches us to push forward and become something better than we are. And the fundamental lack of that being expressed to the next generation, and the continued propagation of the idea that religion should be avoided as opposed to embraced, seems to be a pushing factor as to why people aren't striving anymore. At least from my perspective. I mean, the guiding morals and principles given to you, the push to succeed, to strive, to become more, seems to be directly correlated with the moral education that you receive through religious education. And I'm not saying indoctrination. I don't want anybody forced to accept a religion that they don't follow and believe within themselves. I'm saying that they need some theological education as they develop, something that will help them understand the morals of the religious, and perhaps push them to strive in different ways than atheism and humanism, which have utterly failed to push people to strive, do. Well, I want to thank you all again for joining me on this Spiritual Thursday. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, or thumbs up and subscribe on BitChute. Also, don't forget that all of my Spiritual Thursday stuff and all of my pagan streams can be found at unapologeticpagan.com, as well as other content that he puts up there, and some of his other contributors put up there. And as always, have yourself a beautiful Thursday.